Hello, I'm Dr. Barbara Becker Holstein, and I'm so happy to be back with you to talk more about the truth should not be a secret. And we're talking about the gateways to happiness, and in particular, the gateway around self-esteem. We know that children need to feel loved and special, to have a wonderful sense of themselves, and to feel they are just like the sun and the moon. As I told you in my last show, the way I was able to feel when my grandmother sat me on her lap and sang to me. And we want to give this to all our children. My mother, Bernice Becker, is the author of a great book called Feel Good Stories. In this book, she tells a story of her life in about 25 stories that go from the day she was born, while she was waiting to be born and thinking about the family she was coming into, to many of her adventures in her retirement community. One of the stories that she wrote about, she titled, "One Teacher Can Make a Difference." And I think it highlights at the organic level what I'm trying to talk about. I'll read you parts and maybe fill in a little bit here and there. Our third grade class was listening to our teacher, Miss Pratt. She told us she was disappointed that we were not making the progress she had expected with multiplication tables 1 through 9. She explained that we really understood the meaning, but we just had to get into the business of rote memorization. I regretted that I had not put in the amount of work required. I had let down my teacher, who was the sweetest, kindest, and prettiest one I had ever known. Because of a serious car accident when I was young, I had a scar below my nostril that was the result of a torn upper lip. Although my parents and relatives referred to me as pretty, I did not see myself that way. Focusing on my scar, I could not appreciate any redeeming features. Miss Pratt one day sat at her desk with a fellow teacher and chatted. I glanced at the clock and realized it was time for me to get ready to leave. I put on my matching brown wool coat and hat trimmed with beaver that even I realized was becoming. The teachers looked at my outfit and seemed to admire it. I was able to read their lips a little bit, and my ears perked up to hear, "Who is she? She really is cute." My teacher's answer was, "I agree. Bernice is adorable." Adorable! The word grabbed me, it jolted me. It was just about my favorite word. A delicious warmth enveloped me with a new sense of awareness. Teachers would not lie. Maybe it was true. I looked pretty. This was a revelation to me. At that moment, I made the decision to be the first child in my class to learn the assigned tables. Whatever it took, no matter how much time I would succeed, no one was going to stop me. This time, I believed in myself. For the first time, I felt truly good about myself. I knew I had been motivated by Miss Pratt's remark, and 1 week later, I was at the top of the class. This might not have occurred if I had not overheard those kind words. What a difference one special teacher can make. Isn't that lovely? You can see how this one teacher noticing Bernice and telling the other teachers that she was adorable gave her that sense finally of being special and left her filled with enough passion and energy to actually become the best she could become. And the first thing she was going to do was memorize the multiplication table. And let me just say as an aside, my mother went on to do many, many other things, being a third grade teacher for many, many years and inspiring tons of children. The next example is from the second book in the Truth series. This is my book, Secrets. You tell me yours, and I'll tell you mine, maybe. It is the second book in the series, the first being The Truth. I'm a girl, I'm smart, and I know everything. In this book, the girl who is still keeping her diary is now 13. Let me just give you a little background. She's visiting her aunt out west. This is her first plane trip by herself. She's very excited. Her aunt lives on a farm. There's lots to do, and it's very different than small city living. Her aunt has no children and has always been very, very loving toward the girl, sending her wonderful gifts. She sent her a special locket, which becomes part of the mystery in the first book, The Truth. So I don't want to fully give away how the locket fits in, but it is very important to the girl. And she has also given the girl a diary. I'm going to be reading you some bits and pieces from the girl's visit to her aunt. I've been at my Aunt Melinda's in Minnesota a couple of days. The plane trip was easy. Even when the plane bumped up and down, I didn't need to hold anyone's hand or throw up. Of course, I brought you with me, meaning her diary. How could I travel without you? Aunt Melinda is so different from my mom. She was so happy that I always wear my locket. I told her how I held it tight on the whole plane ride and that it helped me feel safe. She asked me if I still had my picture that she had put inside of it when she gave it to me, and I said yes. Then she asked if I had put anything else into the other side of the locket. I said yes, but it isn't that important to me anymore. It's just a silly, silly thing. She laughed. Well, it doesn't matter. Maybe someday you'll put something else in there that's special to you again. Aunt Melinda always knows exactly what to say to make me feel good, and that's the truth. Then we went into town. She's talking now about the next day. It's a small town with only 4 blocks and about 12 stores. We parked the car and went in and out of the stores. Aunt Melinda introduced me to everyone. This is my favorite niece. I'm so happy she's visiting. She's the best guest. I guess I met just about everyone in town. I felt like the guest of honor at a big ceremony. Everyone asked me questions and told me how pretty I am. It was wonderful. So I hope you begin to see how special and necessary it is for children to feel that they are special and the center of attention. They really do need to feel pretty, smart, talented, wanted, liked. They're not ready to deal with some of the more subtle thoughts and emotions that we finally have to get to by young adulthood. Maybe we're not always so friendly, or maybe we're not always so wanted, and we may begin to have to figure out these situations and maybe even acknowledge that we do have to correct certain traits of our own. But in childhood, we really do need that wonderful time of feeling very special. If I could sum all this up, I would say that to help your children grow up happy, you need to make them feel that you are giving them your complete attention, which of course is impossible. But somehow they need that sense that they are getting the attention and the focus on them that they need to shine. Oftentimes, this can be done just by 7 to 10 minutes a day with a child if you give that person your full attention. Have you ever been with a friend or a loved one who was able to give you complete attention, where you didn't feel they were also maybe adding up their calories or thinking of a list they had to do, or maybe in today's modern world, even on the computer or texting at the same time they were talking to you? If you've had that experience, you know how wonderful it feels. And we must keep giving it to our children every single day. So I am going to leave you with the suggestion of building in at least 7 minutes a day of giving your child complete attention. Now that attention doesn't have to be staring at him like, oh, you're wonderful, you're wonderful. That means really appropriate attention. You may be helping her with her homework. You may be talking in the car without the news in the background. You may be talking at dinner without answering the phone if it rings, so that you can keep the conversation going during these precious 10 minutes. You may be sitting on the edge of her bed for 10 minutes, even when she's 14, talking about the day, what worked, what didn't work, sharing, laughing, giving your full attention. Now actually, this is your first homework assignment. So I hope you will do it if you have more than one child. I hope you'll build in 7 to 10 minutes with each of them. I think you will find it very, very rewarding for both of you or all of you. And you will see that you are well on your way walking through the first gateway to happiness. You will see that not only is your sense of happiness improving and increasing, but I'm very certain you will notice that your children are happier. And isn't that what it's all about? Next time, we'll be starting to walk through the second gateway of happiness. And this one involves putting ourselves and our children into a generational perspective, all of our triumphs and successes, till ultimately we feel a great gratitude as we recognize what is really right and strong and wonderful about ourselves and our lives. See you again next time.